The recording has now started, and I'll just welcome all of you who are watching. You might be watching this live, and you might be watching this in playback. I know there's some people that are a little reluctant to come into a webinar, especially a live webinar that is focused on this topic of using LinkedIn in stealth mode, because they may be a little bit concerned that people are going to see that you're on the webinar. So I'm going to do a couple of reminders in the session here today, just to let you guys know, if you do not want people to know that you are on the webinar today because you are working but looking for another job, I would hide your video, and I would also change your name. Later on, I will be putting this onto YouTube, and I don't want to have any risk that you may appear. Right now, I've collapsed my video pane, so the only person that you should see in the playback is me, but just extra precaution, both within the YouTube, but also within the session itself. There may be other people in the session who go, oh, I didn't know that so-and-so was looking for a job, you know? So I'm just trying to give you guys a little bit of some insights into the process there. So we've got 30 minutes together. We're going to go ahead and get started right now. And I'll just remind you guys that everyone will be in listen only mode for the duration of the webinar for two reasons. One is we've only got 30 minutes, and if I take questions, we're not going to be able to get through the content. The second is just out of respect, we're all kind of working in the home environment, and that way we don't have doors slamming and spouses or partners or family members coming in the room, etc. So we're going to start in just a moment with introductions, and I'm going to give you an alternative introduction for those of you who might be working but looking. Hold on just a second, and we'll introduce ourselves in chat. And then we're going to go through this conversation about using LinkedIn in stealth mode. And I'll be focusing on some different topics. Why you need to get active starting today if you're not already active on LinkedIn. The importance of being a good brand ambassador, even if you're looking to leave, if you don't like the company anymore, it's perfectly okay. I want to show you why and how to do that. Why you should not request any new recommendations right now. You might be like, wait, I need recommendations. I want to get a new job. I'll tell you a little bit about why you don't want to do that right now, but instead something you can do instead. And considering the message you're sending with your email address, it'll be part of the discussion, as well as we'll finish and talking about techniques to start posting today, working up to posting every single business day to give yourself some additional visibility. And if you do need some additional LinkedIn help, I'll drop that at the end as well. I do offer individual coaching, profile rewrites, one-on-one. Everything I do is confidential. I don't disclose who my clients are unless they want to share that with people. Okay. So I did have a client just recently, and I helped her. She was at an executive level, a CFO level. And she reached out to me because she was looking for some help on positioning her for a move. And I noticed a notification came through this week, and it said, congratulate so-and-so on being named CFO at this new company. And I messaged her and I said, congratulations. Now that you've landed, would you be open to giving me a recommendation? And she said, absolutely. She's like, I couldn't talk about it at the time because I didn't want people to know I was positioning myself. But she's like, I want to tell you, working with you, I had my profile viewed by more people. I had recruiters reaching out to me, and they said they had not ever seen me come up in search results before. But now that my profile was revamped, it did. And I know that was the reason I got this opportunity. So she's going to give me a nice recommendation. So I just want to let you guys know I work confidentially, and I will give you that advice, you know, as we're going throughout here. All right. So it is on my clock. It's about 12:03. I usually tell people when you're coming into a webinar, use this as an opportunity to introduce yourself to everyone. Okay. Now, if you are in career transition, what I would do is just remind people, what is the targeted job title that you're seeking? What's the targeted geographic area that you're looking for? And then drop in your LinkedIn URL. Okay. Now make sure that you use that version of the LinkedIn address with the HTTPS, because then it's going to be blue and clickable in the chat. And I'm just going to use this as an example right now. So if I were working, or if I were rather unemployed in career transition, I would just put this in here as an example. I'm seeking a marketing director position in Metro Detroit. Make sure that you put the HTTPS. Sherry, you can see that yours is not blue and it's not clickable. So if you go back to your LinkedIn right now, let me actually show you how to do this, Sherry. I'm going to pull this up in another window. And it's important. I don't know why Zoom makes us do this, but if I grab just the www with my LinkedIn address and I drop it in here, Sherry, you can see it's not clickable and it's not a hyperlink. But if you grab the entire address with the HTTPS, and what I do is I click on it, I think 1, 2, 3, and then it grabs the entire address bar with the HTTPS. Then if you drop that into chat, it's blue and it's clickable. Okay, so use that as a technique to introduce yourself. First of all, if you are in career transition, that's what I would do. Okay, If you're working but looking, lean in, guys. This is a little secret. This is what I would do if you're working but looking. And anytime you go into a webinar, whether it's today's session or in future webinars, conferences, Chamber of Commerce, whatever, virtual events, this is what I would do. You don't need to say, hi, my name is Brenda Meller, because Zoom already says it. So just tell people categorically what is the work that you do for the name of the company that you work for. So I might say, I do marketing for Meller Marketing, or I'm responsible for business development for Meller Marketing. And I help my company by educating people on how to use LinkedIn more effectively. Okay. So categorically, I'm telling you what I do, who I'm working for now, and then here's what I do in my role to help my company reach its goals. So in this example, I'm just going to modify this live right now. So I might say I am responsible, or I handle marketing. Maybe I'll say I handle marketing for Meller Marketing, and I help people. I help our clients unlock the power of LinkedIn. I'm doing this like live so you guys can see actually what I would type in. And then I would drop my LinkedIn URL. So what this is doing is this is kind of letting people, this is what I do for a living. This is what I'm good at, but without saying, hey, I'm looking for a new job in business development, right? So just think about this technique, a modified version of your introduction if you are working but looking, okay? And I would encourage you guys, if you feel comfortable, drop your invitation in a chat. If you don't feel comfortable, we can skip that. But I do want to just share that technique with you and encourage you to use it from this point forward. Reminder, LinkedIn is always changing as a platform. Some changes you might not have yet. So my view may look a little different than your view. Everyone has a different comfort level. My goal is to move you from being that anonymous LinkedIn user, kind of watching in the sidelines, to being a very active participant in the conversation. And I do want you to keep an open mind as we go throughout the session here today. Everyone's going to, have different insights, and I just want you to just be aware of there's some different approaches that you might want to take. You got to decide for yourself what you're going to be comfortable with. But I do believe that you have to take action to make progress to get towards your desired results. And all of these things are going to help you in your job search to avoid that black hole, that mindless, voidless, area that you don't get any feedback back. And it's just soul crushing. So if you want to avoid the black hole, I encourage you to think about using a couple of these techniques here today. All right, so getting started. We're going to start with, what do you need to do to get started here today? If you are working but looking for a new job, what's the easiest thing to do? Start in your homepage feed, okay? So to get to your homepage on LinkedIn, you either click on the in symbol in the upper left-hand corner or the home symbol in the top menu bar. Start in the homepage feed. And an easy way to start building visibility for yourself is to go to the homepage, spend 15 minutes here, reading through, seeing what other people are talking about. When something resonates with you, give it a like or give it a reaction. And I just hovered over my like button to show you guys. You can do just the thumbs up. You can do the applause, the love, the little light bulb. There's a couple different reactions you can do. That's an easy way of just getting your name out into the homepage feed again, okay? Giving it a couple likes. You also may want to consider 2 to 3 times a week leaving comments on posts. And those comments could be, just make sure that they're 5 or more words. Great article, Davin. Thank you for sharing that along. Something like that. 5 or more words that are in here. Now, don't overthink this. Don't get too like, do I need to reply to Davin? Should I skip him because he's not in my targeted industry? Or I work with Joy. I don't want her to know. Don't overthink this, because this LinkedIn homepage feed, guys, this is where business professionals are doing networking. Okay. So by getting active in the homepage feed, you're not throwing off any red flags that you're looking. You're just building visibility for yourself, and you're building that social media karma with other people in your network. You're increasing your awareness of yourself to those connections. So spend some time. That's how you do it. You go into the homepage feed. Okay. Now, why do you want to be spending some time in the homepage feed? Well, like I said, you're going to start building up visibility for yourself. Okay. People may have forgotten about you. You've blended into the background, right? So by posting, by engaging in the homepage feed, you're going to increase that visibility for yourself. You're also going to learn by reading through the homepage feed 15 minutes a day. You're going to start to learn, what are people posting? What are they talking about? When are those posts getting engagement, and when do they bomb, right? When are they not? So you're going to start to learn what works and what doesn't work in the homepage feed. And also, it's just an easy way of getting active and easing back into LinkedIn, especially if you're the kind of person who's neglected using LinkedIn because you don't need a job, right? You're not looking for a new job. You are already employed. If you are starting to ramp up that process, it's an easy way of easing back into it, just getting into that homepage feed. It doesn't set off any red flags because, again, people are just networking in here. This is not like you're notifying people that you're open to work. It's none of those things. It's just an easy way of getting active again on the platform. Okay. So that's the very first technique for you guys, is just to start getting active today in the homepage feed. All right. Let's move on. Let's talk about another technique. If you are using LinkedIn in stealth mode, my words, there's not an actual setting, but using LinkedIn in stealth mode, you're trying to use LinkedIn to navigate your way to find a new job and you don't want other people to know. Here's what you need to do. You actually need to support the company that you work with. And you might be like, Brenda, you're crazy. I'm not happy with my company. That's why I want to get out of there and get a new job. But follow me through on this, guys. Okay. One thing I have noticed is that, we don't want to set off any red flags. We don't want people to go, oh, she's obviously looking, right? When you support your company on LinkedIn, it makes it look like you're not looking, right? And it makes you really attractive to those hiring managers and those recruiters from other organizations because they see that you are doing a great job of representing that current business. So here's what I would do, okay? Look at your profile right now, okay? And you've got your headshot photo, which is a nice professional representation of you today. Right behind your headshot photo, you've got that rectangular block. This is called a header image. What I would do if I were you, and if I was working but looking for a new job, I would put something in my header that was showing branding for my current employer. Might be a picture of the building with my company logo on it. It might be something that the marketing department has provided. Maybe they said, hey, here's 6 to 8 header images you can use. Choose one of those, put it up in there. Might be just a picture of our logo, but something that's showing that I work for this company and I'm advertising that company in my header. Okay. I would do that. Okay. I would also make sure that your headline is reflecting your role and how you are helping your company. Okay. So not just business development at ABC company. I wouldn't just put that in there. No, I might put business development at ABC company. Maybe I might put in helping our customers reduce their costs and increase their ROI. Put something in there. Little bit of two things that are happening there. One is you're supporting yourself in your current role, right? Potentially by gaining new business. Two is by you're telling other people, i.e. recruiting managers and hiring managers, here's what I can do for your company. Okay. So think about expanding that headline a little bit, not just a job title at company, but a little bit of more description, who you are helping at your current company and how you're helping them. Okay. And make sure that you have an awesome headshot photo. This is a professional representation of you. This is the first impression people are going to have of you. This is not the place to have a selfie, not a picture of you in your car, your kitchen, not the cropped wedding photo with the hand, none of those things. Invest in a good headshot photographer if you have the financial means to do so. Headshot photographers are working. They're doing the social distancing, the masking, all that other good stuff. So you can get a good headshot photographer nowadays. If you don't have the budget to do so, at least get a clean, updated photo of yourself that's been taken in the past 5 years. You can use your phone. Have a spouse or a family member take them of you in a clean background environment. Even outside nowadays, the greenery is starting to develop. But make sure you do have an awesome headshot photo. All right. Finally, in your contact info, we want to make sure that we look like a good company representative because this is going to remove the possibility of any red flags being set off. Make sure that you have in your website section, your current employer is listed. Put your company website in there. Okay. Make sure that is in that website section. Also at the bottom in the email address section, make sure that it shows your work email. If you have already changed it out and it shows your Gmail or something else instead, don't change it back. But if you haven't changed it, I would not recommend that you change it to a home email. That to me is a red flag that you're thinking about looking, especially if I've been on your profile before. Maybe I'm your coworker, maybe I'm your boss, right? I've been on your profile before. I've clicked in your contact info and I see today you had ABC company, which is our company, right? And a week from now, I go back and I look and I'm like, why does George now have his AOL email? Oh, he must be looking, right? So don't set off any red flags by changing it. Keep your work email in there, okay? Again, don't change it back if you've already changed it, leave it as it is. But if you don't, I would keep your work email in there. All right. So on the topic of red flags, stop throwing off these red flags. And there's a common one I see people making, and they don't even think about the fact that it is a red flag. But recommendations, very common when you're starting to think about looking for a new job, you start to think about, gosh, I haven't had any LinkedIn recommendations in a while. So I'm going to request a few. And that's all you're thinking about is requesting these new recommendations. Well, easy for me to see if somebody's looking for a job I can scroll down to their recommendation section. In the received section, did you guys know there's a date stamp? It shows when you received those recommendations. So if you haven't received any recommendations in like 5 or 10 years, and all of a sudden you have a flurry of like 3 or 4 of them, that's a red flag. You're starting to look for a job, especially if you don't have any given at all, or if the given ones it's been like even longer, like 7 or 8 years since you've given any of them. So remember, there's a date stamp in the recommendations section, and everyone can see these, okay? If I were you, I would not request any recommendations right now. I would wait, give out a couple of recommendations first, and then maybe request one recommendation, and then give a couple more, and then request another recommendations, like space those out, okay? Even better would be this. Put a calendar reminder in once per quarter to request one new recommendation. And that way your recommendations are in January, in April, in June, and October. They're spread out over the course of a year. There's not that flurry of recommendations that are a surefire red flag that you're going to be looking for a job. Okay. So consider that. And on the flip side of that, I would highly recommend that you guys give recommendations out. And this is like brilliant, guys. If you haven't been focused on giving recommendations, these, in my opinion, are even they're, I don't want to say more valuable, but they're a more interesting use of this recommendation area and an interesting way of not throwing off any red flags. Think about people that giving them a recommendation would be a strategic thing for you to do. Okay. What I mean by that, those people may be connected to others in your industry that could potentially be looking at adding team members. Okay. So it could be clients, could be vendors, could be former bosses and coworkers, other people that you have had interaction with in the past. Give them a recommendation. Say something nice about working with them. When you do so and they accept it, it goes on their profile. You've gained some real estate on their profile. Okay. So I'm just showing you, I'm not looking for a job, but I'm going to show you, here's 2 people I've given recommendations to recently. Kenneth is a LinkedIn trainer and coach. Now I consider Kenneth not competition, but co-opetition. He and I do similar work. He's in the New York, New Jersey area. I'm in Michigan. So I don't feel like we're really competing in each other's backyards. But when I give Kenneth a recommendation, his LinkedIn clients are going to see my name in his recommendation section. And guess what? Some of them are going to click over to learn more about me, right? Similarly, Robbie Samuels, who is absolutely brilliant, by the way, he offers every Friday a happy hour event. It's called No More Bad Zoom. It's free. If you look up the hashtag, you can see his events. I think they're from 5 to 7:30. But this is what he does for a living. He does Zoom presentations. Okay. Now, I don't compete with Robbie because I'm not doing Zoom, but he's helping people to market themselves more effectively for online presentations. And for me, that's a little bit of a sidestep from what I do with helping people on LinkedIn strategy. So I gave Robbie a recommendation. He accepted it. I have gained real estate on his profile. Okay. So think about being a strategic giver, giving recommendations to people in your network. This is something you can do right now. Okay. Don't wait for these. And then maybe after you have given a few, then you request one recommendation. That's an easy way to reduce those red flags on your profile. All right, we're going to move along here. I'm going to talk next about posting strategy. And then after I'm done giving my presentation, I'm going to stop the recording. I'll see if you guys have any questions before the end of the session, but I'll let you know I'll stop the recording so that you can feel free to move about the cabin, so to speak, and ask any questions without worrying it's going to be on YouTube or anything like that. All right, so let's talk about posting strategy. And many people are not using LinkedIn at all until they need to start looking for another job and they haven't posted at all, or maybe it's been years or months, or it's been before the pandemic, and they're a little nervous and a little hesitant on how do I start posting. So it's not setting off any of those red flags, but it is building visibility for me. Okay, so here's what I want you to think about. Start posting right now, and I would post right now once a week. Okay, you gradually want to work your way up to posting every single business day, but let's start with something that's doable. You can post today, right? You can post on LinkedIn, maybe an industry article that you've read. I'm going to give you a couple of ideas in a few minutes, but maybe an inspirational quote, like something I'm showing you here up on screen. You can do that easily. Start posting once a week, gradually working up to once every business day. If you're struggling with what to post, I'm going to show you a few ideas in just a second here. I do want to encourage you, after you post, to watch and see who is liking the post, who is making comments on the post, making sure you're replying back to those people, and making sure if any of those are second or third level, you're considering inviting them to connect. And don't reference the post unless there's a significant exchange of information that's occurring there. But instead, mentioning what you have in common with them, items on their profile, etc., and inviting them to connect with you. It's a good way of building out your visibility. But Brenda, you might say, I don't know what to post. What should I be posting on LinkedIn? Well, hey guys, here's a great list of ideas, different types of things that you could consider posting on LinkedIn. And I'll encourage you right now, feel free if you want to take a screen capture, if you have one of those screen clipping tool things. If not, you've got your phone with you. I know you got a camera on there, right? So pull out your camera right now on your phone. Just turn your phone sideways so it can be a nice horizontal photo. This is a good reference sheet if you're struggling with, what do I post? Like, I'm running out of ideas on what to post. Like, put it in your phone. You're always going to have it in there. And I will put things in my phone and I'll put it on the favorite so I can kind of quickly get back to this later. So anytime you go to a webinar, a virtual event, talk about those events. You could post a photo on LinkedIn. You can tag the presenter, tell people something that you learned, for example. That's a great thing. Industry news items. As you're reading articles in your industry publications, in your e-newsletters, etc., there's going to be a click to share icon somewhere, right? Share those and tell people what you're reading about, okay? Today's news and views on LinkedIn. If you look in your homepage in the upper right-hand corner, they have a bunch of articles in there all the time. Find an article there. You could share that. That counts as a post on LinkedIn. Inspirational quotes and images. Those do really, really well on LinkedIn. You can just type it in, or you can find a Google image on Google image search, and you can share a quote. Tell people why that's meaningful for you. Okay. You can do polls on LinkedIn. You can ask for advice on LinkedIn. You can create hashtags related to your industry. I work in marketing, so I might do a hashtag Marketing Monday. Maybe you work in technology and you do a Tech Thursday, or, come up with a different hashtag that's in alliteration with your industry. If you want a quick demo of any of those, let me know, and I'll do that when we go into Q&A a little bit later. But those are just a couple of ideas if you're struggling with what to post on LinkedIn. Posting is going to help to increase your visibility on the platform. If you are using LinkedIn in stealth mode, quote unquote, you want to increase your visibility on the platform. And all of these techniques I'm sharing with you, including posting, are going to help to increase that visibility for you. All right, guys. So as we wrap up the conversation here today, I just want to remind you, I've covered a lot of information in a very short amount of time here, but hopefully I've given you a glimpse in the types of insights that I can offer you if you are using LinkedIn to find a new job, but you are working but looking and you're kind of in stealth mode. So if you need some additional help, do keep in mind that I do offer one-on-one LinkedIn strategy assistance delivered through Zoom, completely confidential. I can help you to walk through your profile, give you some additional training techniques that can help you on your path to a new job. I do offer profile building. I call it DIFM, do it for me. So if you don't want to do the heavy lifting, I can do the work for you. I've done this for many executive level clients and would be happy to help you rework your profile. So let me know if you're interested in that. I also do offer one-on-one guidance in just a quick 30-minute Zoom call. If you're unemployed, I do offer a discount in that. So I'll send you information on how to schedule that. I do also offer an online course. So there's a great course that I've put together. It's called LinkedIn for Job Seekers. It's just a very limited price right now for 30 days of online access. So you can click that link and learn a little bit more about that. Or I've got a book. It's called Social Media Pie, How to Enjoy a Bigger Slice of LinkedIn. And you can buy that on Amazon. You can buy an autographed copy on my website. So that's another way that you can get additional help from me. And finally, if you don't have a large budget or no budget at all, I do offer a lot of free training and assistance through this 30-minute webinar series, this Power 30 as example. I blog on LinkedIn. I have a video library on YouTube with great LinkedIn strategy tips, or you can just follow me and my company on LinkedIn and you can get some great advice as well. All right, guys. So I think that's all I have for you here today. I will send you links on all of those in an email if you wish to follow up and schedule any additional training with me. If not, no worries, all kinds of great information out there, but I would love to have the opportunity to help you unlock the power of LinkedIn and guide you into your new job. Okay. Before you leave today, what I would love it if you guys could just drop into chat and tell me one thing that you learned here today that you're going to incorporate into your LinkedIn activity. Now, reminder, chat's not visible to the people on YouTube. It is visible for the other participants. But if you feel comfortable, I'd love it if you could just share with me one thing that you learned today that you found particularly helpful that you'll be incorporating on LinkedIn. Now, if you're actively in between career opportunities, AKA unemployed, you can also post on LinkedIn and tell people about this webinar, something that you learned here today, and help to spread the word about my webinar series. I would love your support on that. Optional if you want to do that, but it is something that you could absolutely do. So at this point, what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to end the recording and I'll open this up for Q&A from the audience. I want to just thank everybody who's watching this in playback for taking the time to spend going through this information here today. And feel free to reach out to me if you do have any additional questions. I'll include my contact info below. All right, so let me stop the